show with restaurant critic and radio host Peter Dills. Peter readily admits to being born into the world of food, as he is the son of noted restaurant critic Elmer Dills. As far back as he can remember, Peter was following his father from restaurant to restaurant, always tasting, always learning about food and discovering new and exciting restaurants and travel destinations. As his food adventure comes full circle, he now stars on radio and television with his popular food and travel show, Dining with Dills, named after his father Elmer. And now, your host, Peter Dills.
He has a new tequila that he has hit the stores, including Mission Liquors. There's 5 of those locations. High Times, appropriate. That's down in Orange County. El Cholo restaurants. They're throughout Southern California. In my home city of Pasadena, there is a El Cholo. And so he's got his tequila happening, and he's got some recipes, and it's going to be all fun and talking to him. For more information about that, you can go to Tres Papalote, Papalote. Beautiful bottle. Cheech is really involved in Hispanic art. It looks like a Mayan warrior from something, I don't know. And if you are into tequila or mezcal, there he is. Okay, Cheech Marin, let's go. Let's talk to Cheech. Where did the tradition of clam chowder come that it's like the soup of the day on Friday?
Okay, I have an answer. They had fish stuffing on, what is that? The cod or, no, clam chowder?
Yeah, the clams.
Clam chowder on Friday because they were Catholics and they couldn't eat meat on Friday.
Are you a Southern California native? Of course you are. I was talking about things like that, where do things originate? And then we said, well, who is Cheech Marin? He's a genius. He was on Jeopardy, and he literally smoked all of the other contestants.
I was the very first Celebrity Jeopardy champion. The first time they had Celebrity Jeopardy, I won it.
That is amazing. That's
so I retired from learning right after that because there's something left to learn.
No point. If you hear
the thing is, as you go around and tell her that I was a Jeopardy winner, you could have 10 PhDs and they wouldn't look at you with more awe.
I know. That was like this wonderful. I've got the mezcal in my hand right now.
Oh, baby.
And I've got it. And for those of you that are on Facebook, you can see what it looks like.
It's half empty.
It's half empty. And I'm like, but the guy was in Up in Smoke. The guy did all these things with Don Johnson, Tin Cup. But he was on Jeopardy, and he was brilliant.
How about that?
All right, I got a bunch.
Worked.
I got a bunch of questions to ask you. We're going to talk about mezcal. What's the difference between mezcal and tequila?
It is mezcal. What we're selling. It's called Tres Papalote, and it's made from a couple different varieties of agave. The difference is in the processing. Mezcal is smokier, has a smoky taste. That's the identifying factor with that, and it comes in a bunch of different varieties.
In Pasadena, that's where I live, Cheech. There's a place on Washington. It's called Mission Liquors. They've got 5 of them here in the L.A. area, and all 5 of them carry it. We know El Cholo has it. High Times, appropriate enough. High Times in Orange County, they carry it. Any other places that I might be missing?
There's a bunch of them. One in Central City, and there's one in San Diego.
I just heard you call the name, Tres Papalote, the party mezcal. How did you come up with the name?
Well, it's because I have a little, the figure on the bottle is one of the pieces from my Chicano art collection. It's a glass piece made by the De La Torre brothers. There's 2 of them, and who will be the opening artist at the Cheech when it opens up next year. But he's a funny-looking guy. I like mezcal as a mixed drink. For me, I'd rather drink it in a blend rather than straight. So, and it looks like they're having a party. It's a drink you drink poolside,
I was bragging about my margarita recipe that I throw in a lemon peel in the blender. When you're drinking it, you can feel the little lemon chewing in your mouth. And I was told, no, this particular mezcal you mix with oranges, not with lemon.
Yeah, it seems to accompany it better. It's a really nice taste. But I like it, blended in a mixed drink. Especially can be, tropical, fruit flavored, all those kinds of. But it has a very sophisticated blend that you can put in different kind of liqueurs and vermouth, and it really has a wonderful taste.
And we're talking to Cheech. He is, of course, infamous with Cheech and Chong, a partnership. But you have another partnership with Don Johnson. I got to get to the quick on this question. You guys are pals. Who's the better golfer, Don Johnson or you?
I would think that Don is a better golfer because he's probably been playing it longer than me. And he's just a better golfer, you know. So, but we used to play all together all the time in San Francisco when we were shooting there. I belonged to a golf club there, so we came to the conclusion that we both belonged to our golf club, and we used to play all the time. We had this bet that if you made 2 pars in a row, you had to smoke a joint, or at least a part.
Now we know about Don Johnson.
Yeah.
That we didn't know about.
Yeah.
About Renee Russo. Renee Russo in Tin Cup. God, I was in love with her in that movie.
I've known her since she was 17. She gets more beautiful every year.
Yeah, Renee Russo in Tin Cup. Kevin Costner, Cheech Marin. Cheech and Chong.
The movie holds up.
We're talking to Cheech Marin. He's got a brand new mezcal out, and it's hitting the restaurants and stores. It's called, I said it right the first time, I believe, Tres Papalote, correct?
Papalote.
Papalote. And it's...
it means 3 kites, so you will be
kites.
higher than 3 kites.
3 kites. My trivia question was quite simple, Cheech. What was Cheech's name in the movie Up in Smoke? And what's Cheech's middle name?
Ooh. I know these.
Pedro.
Kind of.
Tocayo. Tocayo, because my name is Peter, so I get to say Tocayo.
Okay, Tocayo.
Tocayo. Right. Same name. And then it's Anthony, right?
My middle name, Anthony.
Yeah. So look at me. I did my research on Cheech Marin.
You did very well. You may live.
I may live. Well,
let this one live.
Let this one live, and let him drink tequila. Tres Papalote.
No, mezcal.
Mezcal.
Let him die now.
Did I say it again? I think I got to give away a gift card to El Cholo. Every time I call it tequila, it's mezcal.
I'm thinking that's a good
All right.
assertion.
How did you get involved in mezcal? I almost said it. That would have been a gift card to everybody. Mezcal. How did you get involved in mezcal?
Well, I met a man named Ed Kahn, and he was a liquor distributor, and he had a couple of specialty labels that he was developing. And he met me and through some friends, and I said, well, we should do a tequila, you know, because you're Cheech and tequila. And I said, 870 million tequila brands out there.
Right.
And let's do something that everybody else is not doing. And so I looked around and I said, well, mezcal, it looks like it has an opportunity to have a bigger window on it. And so I said, well, let's do mezcal. So we started exploring that and investigating that. And we found out we really like mezcal. And now mezcal is really picking up in the marketplace and in bars and in restaurants. It's become very popular when they learn how to successfully drink it in one way or the other.
When I was growing up in the 70s, and I bought my first Cheech and Chong album with the giant rolling paper.
Big Bamboo.
Oaxaca was famous for one thing. But now I'm looking at the label here. This mezcal is from Oaxaca.
Yeah. It's a cousin to the other one.
Yeah, the other one that we can't say because then we'd have to give out gift cards to El
Cholo. You could do that.
No, yeah, and so the brand itself, you mentioned San Diego, L.A., and it's being popular. Cheech was right.
Yes, sir.
Cheech was right about the clam chowder because it's the Catholics and everything like that. Fish Friday, clam chowder, and all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, but that's when they lost me.
Why?
The Catholic, it really was. That's when I was born and raised Catholic, altar boy, choir boy, seminary, almost to seminary, and all the time I was growing up, you couldn't eat meat on Friday because they were sacrificing it up, and blah 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 blah. And then all of a sudden they changed it. That's cool. Yeah, you can eat meat anytime you want.
How many gallons fit in a 10-gallon hat, Mr. Jeopardy champion?
Jeez, 10 gallons.
We don't know either.
10 gallons.
We don't know either. All right. I've heard, and your way around the kitchen in Pacific Palisades. Do you often cook for your family? And what is it that Cheech makes for his family?
Whatever is like really ritzy looking but takes 2 minutes to cook. You want some. I cook a lot of. I cook every day, so because I cooked in hotels and restaurants and stuff, and so it's such a relaxing thing to me, and just to prepare a meal. And the first thing I ask my wife when I get up, what do you want for dinner tonight? Get up, shut up, and I go out and get ingredients. That's the funnest part, is going to your different stores and getting going to the right fish shop or the right meat market.
And Cheech, I got one more question for you. I need your permission. Now, tell me if this is sacrilegious. Am I able to make a margarita using your agave? Because sometimes people say, oh, no, this is shooting tequila. I can use that word, tequila or mezcal. Do you suggest sipping this, or is it okay to mix?
Oh, I love it mixed the best because it has this smoky flavor that kicks in right at the end. You go, oh, that's That's really cool. And once you get kind of used to the smoky flavor, you don't want anything else.
I love it. I've got a bottle of it, and I'll be drinking it after dry January. Have you ever heard of dry January?
I've never heard of that.
I know.
They didn't have that in my religion.
Thanks for the call.
My pleasure.
As promised, here are the sponsors of today's show, today's podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Baja Ranch Markets, Pasadena, Monrovia. Man, if you're looking for some ripe avocados or a deal on navel oranges, Baja Ranch. Domenico Steakhouse, right there in Monrovia. Half price prime steaks. Great deal. Super Wow, Super Chips, now available at Sprouts and Cost Plus World Markets. West Coast Philly cheesesteak. West Coast Philly cheesesteak. Little Provence is in Arcadia. I discovered them. Dynamite French food. Lord Empanada, the pride of Monrovia. Come on in, get yourself a empanada. Say hi to Ryan. And then Sierra Madre, of course. We've got Casa del Rey, one of the best margaritas and tacos north of the 210 freeway. And finally, Tattinger Champagne. We've got FIFA soccer coming to the Rose Bowl. Get yourself a bottle of Tattinger Champagne available at Vaughn's in Pasadena.